Thank you everyone for coming out to today's press conference. My name is Cody Lefkowitz, the Director of Media Relations for the Madison Capitols. I know these are very different times that we're in, but we with the Madison Capitols would like to thank you all for attending the press conference introducing our new head coach and general manager, Tom Upton. During the entire interview process, we were looking for someone that could not only coach, but could also show the community that we are there for them as much as they are for us. In the search, Tom was the candidate that stood out among the rest, and we know he'll help the organization become a leader in the community. On that note, I would like to introduce to everyone the new head coach and general manager of the Madison Capitols, Tom Upton.
Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it. First off, whoever's tuned in here, appreciate you guys being here. First off, would like to thank Andrew Jodry, Ryan Suter, and the whole CAPS organization for welcoming me and my family into this organization. We're super proud, super excited to be a part of this and what we're doing. When I came on my interview, before I got there, I was very interested by this job and being a head coach and GM, not only in Madison, but in this great league. And then after I left, after sitting with Andrew, sitting with Ryan for a while, touring the facilities, hearing their vision, hearing their plan for this organization moving forward, I was ecstatic. I walked out of the door. I called my wife right away and I said, hey, I want this really bad. So at the end of the day, I feel very fortunate and very lucky to have this opportunity to be a part of this organization. I think we've got some great things going on from a business side. I think we're going to take some tremendous steps from a hockey side. First and foremost, we're going to take care of our players. That's the most important thing. We're going to make this a place where kids want to come and play. Parents want to send their kids. Colleges want to send their recruits. Advisors want to send their clients. And we're going to show them a great time. We're going to win. We're going to develop. And we're going to create a great culture and give Madison what they've been looking for and a great product on the ice. So very excited. My family and I, obviously, we have a lot of work to do, a lot of things to get done before we move there and before we move forward, but cannot be more excited to be a part of the CAPS organization.
On that note, it looks like we will open the floor to questions. So if anybody has a question, just raise your hand and let us know. Brian, let me. All right, Brian.
Hey, Tom, congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So how often did you meet with Andrew and Ryan and kind of go through that and what the Q&A was like with those guys?
You know what? So me and Andrew spoke on the phone. I think it might have been the day after it was released that Garrett was stepping down. We had a great talk. I hadn't met Andrew before. To be honest with you, I didn't even know that he was working for the organization because I believe when I was in the league 3 years ago, I don't think he was with the Caps at the time. So speaking with him right away, I was very intrigued. I was like, all right, he's got a great plan. Seems like things are heading in the correct direction business-wise. I know the rink has some great improvements. The fan base has gotten bigger. And so we spoke, and then obviously me and Andrew spoke again. And then we touched base, and he said, hey, Ryan would obviously like to meet with you in person, but obviously with this whole thing going on, I don't know if you're comfortable about doing that. And, that's the type of guy I am. I was like, you know what, it's all right. I'll get in the car and I'll drive the 9 hours from Erie, Pennsylvania to Madison to show you guys how bad I want this job and to sit in front of you guys. And, I don't think you can truly get someone's passion and truly get their plan until you're face to face with them. That's funny. I'm saying that because right now all of us are on video, but that was a big thing. I wanted to come and I wanted to hear what they had to say. I wanted them to feel and to hear my passion and my plan for this organization and for the team. And I'm glad I did it. It was great to spend the day with those guys. We spent about 5 hours at the rink, 6 feet apart the whole time, obviously. No handshakes. But it was great. I toured the rink. I hadn't, last time I coached in the rink renovations hadn't been done yet.
Yeah.
So I was blown away by that. I had briefly seen it from some recruiting standpoints, being in Division I hockey the last couple of years, but to be able to tour the whole thing and really see what's going on, it was great. I was blown away by that. And then, again, just to hear their vision, hear their passion in the organization and where the business side's going and where they want the hockey side to go. I was absolutely ecstatic when I walked out of that building. It was awesome.
All right. Anyone else? Yep, George.
So, Coach, congrats as well on the job. What do you bring to that vision that you were presented with by the Capitals?
I think obviously hard work. We're going to have to roll up our sleeves and we're going to have to get after it. That's how I am my whole life. That's how I was brought up, was very blue collar. I was never handed anything in life, never handed anything in my playing career. And in my coaching career, it's been the same way. I had to grind it out. And, I thrive on situations like that where you can roll up your sleeves and work. And that was one thing that for sure I told Ryan and Andrew. I said, hey, listen, you can do background checks on me and people that have been around me, but that first and foremost is my bread and butter, is my work ethic. It's been like that since I played, and it's like that as a coach, and something I take a lot of pride in. With that being said, I like to surround myself with people that work hard, and then obviously speaking with Andrew, speaking with Ryan, even talking to the players on the team last year, it sounds like our work ethic is right there in par with how I like it to be and how I like to be. So I'm extremely excited for that. And then obviously just being, myself in the community. Obviously we want to get out in the community even more so than we already do. And according to Andrew, we've been doing a great job with that. And I see some of the numbers and it looks like we're doing a nice job with that. Those can always get better. We want to get in the community even more. And I want to get in the community as well. I'm not going to be one of these head coaches that, sends the players only or sends guys from staff, things like that. I want to get out in this community, meet the fans, meet people, let them know how we are going to be doing things from now on from a hockey side, and hopefully see them at the rink.
Zach? Hold on, if it unmutes you. There we go.
Stopped. You had 2 stops in the USHL, so you kind of know how tough this league is. What maybe have you learned from a guy like Mark Carlson to kind of help you, as you start from scratch here?
You know what? Working for Mark was a tremendous experience. The biggest thing, and I hate to relate to it again, that I learned from him, going into my situation, coming out of Stevens Point for 3 years coaching, recruiting, things like that, going to work for Mark. I thought I worked hard before I worked for Mark Carlson, and I was sadly mistaken. And Carly definitely showed me, and this is coming from a guy who's had longevity of success in this league. He showed me exactly how you need to work to have that type of success for that long of a time. And, I learned a lot that year, went through 2 drafts with him. We were fortunate to have some great scouts around us, great players, great people around us. And I learned a ton, but the biggest thing I learned from him was that work ethic. If you think you work hard, you got to work 10 times harder. And that's something that I really took pride in that year. And it's something that I obviously carry with me now as a coach. There's obviously some more ins and outs of the game, X's and O's that I learned from Mark and things like that. But I'd say the biggest thing is that work ethic. If you want to have success, you got to put your hard hat on. You got to go to work as a coach, as a player, as a scout. And he's a testament to that, being in this league for as long as he has and the consistent success he's had.
All right, let's go. Lance? Yep. There we go.
There we go. Hi, Coach. So obviously not a lot of wins, especially this past year for the Capitals recently. So what did you see to lead you to believe that you could have success?
You know what? I saw a team that needs some more culture, needs some more probably expectation. I'm not scared to talk about winning. I think we need to talk about winning. We need to expect it. We need to act like winners. It's not just going to happen. You don't just go out and win. It becomes a mentality. It's something that you need to constantly talk about, I believe, with the players and in your practices and in your video and things like that. Everything should be geared towards winning. It can't be your main focus, but I definitely think it's something that you need to talk about. And then it becomes an expectation, and then it becomes how you act. And then I do believe that through all that, along with obviously a lot of other things, you'll eventually win. And that's what I heard. That's what I saw. I think that they need that type of mentality and that type of culture. So I think that's probably the main thing for me is we're going to come in with that expectation. It's not just, hey, we're the Caps and we're happy to be here. And we're the Caps. We're going to show this league that it's a great place for kids to play, and we're going to have success on and off the ice in the community and with our wins. Definitely.
All right, Todd.
Hey, Tom, thanks for doing this and congrats.
Sure. Thank you.
Can you get into what attracted you to coaching in the first place? It seemed like that was you went into that really young, right out of college, basically. What about that attracted you? And then How have you kind of taken steps in the last couple of years at Mercer, especially in this last year when the results weren't that great, but you kind of had to persevere, and what kind of things you might have learned from that experience?
You know what? That's a great question. Obviously, I did get into coaching right away. I remember Will Nickel, who's a Madison guy, who I know all you guys probably are familiar with. Will offered me Anthony Noreen's job. Anthony Noreen was at Stevens Point as an assistant, and Anthony had got the assistant job in Youngstown, and I had just graduated. I was a captain for Will. We had a great relationship. He said, "Hey, do you want to get into coaching?" And I said, "Shoot, I obviously would like to keep playing hockey for a couple more years, but after thinking about it for a couple weeks, the big thing was, and this is going to be funny right away, but I wasn't that great of a player, so I figured I'm not going to play forever, but you can darn near coach forever. So that's one great way to stay in the game and stay involved. And then obviously my first year with Will, learned a ton. I loved it. It was a little bit of a trial and error. I was just kind of getting my feet wet and seeing how I liked it, and the transition from being a player to a coach and all that. And I absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with the interaction, obviously, with the guys, fell in love with being able to impact guys on a positive way. And then from there, everything just continued to build. I fell in love with recruiting when I worked with Brooksy up there, Chris Brooks at Stevens Point, when he took the job over when Will left. I fell in love with the recruiting side. And then moving forward, when I worked with Mark, is when I fell in love with this league. Obviously this league is the best junior league in the world in my eyes. And the players are elite, but they're at a perfect age where you can really, truly have an impact on them. And that's the big thing that I loved about this league. And then obviously got experience in North American League of being a head coach from there. Learned a ton through that experience, positive, negative, things I would do, things I wouldn't do. I wouldn't change that experience though for the world, because I learned a ton. And then back in Youngstown, obviously continued to learn and grow as an assistant coach in this league. And then at Mercyhurst, my boss there, Rick Gawkin, he's been there 32 years. He's a tremendous man to work for because he gives you a lot of responsibility. Going into that job, I figured, all right, I've never coached Division I hockey before. Maybe the first year I'll, push pucks and keep my mouth shut, and, that'll be it. And Rick, right away, Rick's like, "Hey, you're in charge of the forwards. You're running our PK. You're running skill session. You're doing this video, blah, blah, blah." So I'm like, all right, perfect. I'd rather do more than little. And that's the greatest thing I learned from my 3 years at Mercyhurst is, Rick really treats you like a head coach, even though he's the head coach, obviously, at the end of the day. He lets you act like a head coach. He lets you run a ton of things. He gives you a ton of freedom to not only make mistakes and learn, but also give your input and things like that. And, my time at Mercyhurst the past 3 years is really when I started thinking, you know what, I think I'm ready to become a head coach again. And I think I'm really ready this time to become a head coach possibly in the USHL. And then this job opened up, and, as you guys know, things worked out in a positive way. So.
Zach, let's go.
Coach, just how excited are you to get this thing started and to get back on the ice with the guys?
I'm pumped. I was just teasing Cody a little bit. I said, "Hey, let's make this quick. You're cutting into my player calls and my draft preparation." But so excited. This league is so fun. I absolutely loved it as an assistant coach. From just working with the players and their age group and their caliber of play, to dealing with other guys in the league. I've got a ton of great friends in hockey that are in this league, and it was great to hear from them yesterday and welcome me back. And to the arenas that you get to go to, the cities you get to go to, the towns, the people you interact with, everything about this league I absolutely love. And that's the biggest thing that I'm excited about. Then obviously, getting to work. Yesterday it was obviously a pretty busy day. These next couple of weeks leading into our draft will be extremely busy. But I love that. Like I said, that's how I am. You wake up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee, and you go to work. And I know my son and my wife haven't been crazy about me being on the phone here the last day and a half, probably all day long, but they do understand that that's how it is when dad's a coach, when things happen like that. So cannot wait to get started. Obviously, it's a little bit of a weird time with the coronavirus thing going on, not being sure when training camps will be and all that. But even just to be able to speak with our guys, I called all of our guys yesterday. I called all the returners first, said hello to them, described to them a little bit of how things are going to be from now on. And then I chipped away at our affiliate list last night as well. And I've still got a couple of guys I've been playing phone tag with on the affiliate list. And it was great to speak with them. So, from here, obviously we're preparing for our draft, but extremely excited. Cannot wait to get to work and cannot wait to get back over there to the Midwest.
All right. Todd. Let's go. There we go.
Yeah, can you get into what the draft process is going to be like for you, given that you've got kind of a short window here, a couple of weeks before that happens, wanting to get a sense of what you have coming back and what you'll need down the road, I guess. All of them.
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, and that's a question that I'm still answering. I'm trying to dive into our team and find out who's going into school and who's not, and things like that. Try to get a feel through video of who plays what style and how guys are going to fit into what we would like to do moving forward on the ice and culture-wise and things like that. And then obviously working hand in hand with Will and getting a feel for the list that he's been working his tail off on all year. And then you got to make your calls, right? I spent a lot of today getting in touch with all the Division I coaches and just saying, hey, if you have some guy, I've been hired here. If you have guys that are committed to you, or maybe you're recruiting, maybe send us some names. So we like that. But it's no different than any other year I've been in this league. This is a crazy time of the year, especially this last 2-week push before the draft. Just calling kids, making sure they're going to come, making sure they're not committed to go to the OHL or something like that. Or if they're going to school or not, but obviously it's a little more compact for me this year with, the two week notice, but, Andrew, Will, everybody within our organization has been extremely helpful so far. And I expect them to continue to be helpful, through the draft, so I can play a little bit of catch up.
Todd, do you have another?
Yeah.
Oh. Hold on.
Okay, now I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about your plans, given the situation we're in, and what you can do and what you'll be able to do when you'll know whether you'll be able to have anything in the summer. Has there been any discussion with you through the team or the league about what's gonna, I know a lot of it's uncertain, but what might happen and when?
You know what? There's been some discussion of different things, different options. I think everyone right now is planning on having the season start on time, is my understanding. No one said that we're going to have a delayed season or anything like that. So that's a big positive. Obviously, we're not sure if when we can have our summer training camp. That's the one big question mark, I would imagine. But no one really knows. I hate to say it like that, but right now there's been zero plans to push the season back or delay the season or anything like that. I'm sure there'll be a lot more communication as the summer goes along, and in my communication with the current players, I just said, hey, listen, I'll be in communication with you all summer long as we go about. I'll let you know as soon as we know when training camps are and things like that. And let's expect to start the season when the season's supposed to start in August or September.
All right. Todd has another.
I have one more. Do you know how many people you're expecting back and what the breakdown might be? Goalie by position, goalie, defenseman, forward, and how much you'll have to fill in for this next season? You know
what? You have to forgive me. I'm not sure on the exact numbers. Obviously, it's been just names on a sheet right now, calling the guys. But I've been surprised with the amount of returns we have. We're going to have a very good veteran group, and in my experience in this league, having guys that have played in this league is huge. Especially your third year guys. Third year guys are huge. Obviously, Christian Stover's coming back. We have Grant Riley on our affiliate list. We have Luke Middleton on our affiliate list. Ryan Kerwin's coming back. There's a ton of guys. Everybody I talk to is that could come back is coming back, and we're very excited about that. So it's not like the shelves aren't bare by any means.
All right. Any other questions? Brian? Yep.
Yeah. All right, Tom. So what type of hockey are you going to play? You going to play pointer hockey? What are you going to play?
Well, it was a long time ago that I was at point, so I think that's changed a little bit. But no, for me, you know what, Brian? Speed and skill is my big thing. I love guys that are creative and aren't scared to make mistakes. I want our guys to have that freedom. We want to bring in skilled guys that are creative with the game. Yeah, they're going to make mistakes. It happens all the time. How do you learn from those? How do you react? But want guys that can skate, want guys that have skill. Obviously, compete and all that stuff and discipline. That for me is a given. that shouldn't be something that we need to talk about too much, because you either compete or you don't. If you compete, you'll be here. And if you don't, unfortunately, you might have to find a new place to play. So, but for me, speed, skating, and then obviously that skill set and that creativity with the puck are my two really big things that I love. So it's going to be a real entertaining style.
Thank you guys for coming out. Again, if you have any questions for Tom or want another interview, anything else, a quote, feel free, contact me if you don't have his contact, and I'll get you guys in contact with him, and we can go from there. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks, guys.